Welcome to Not Advised, the fantasy football podcast not based on research. So if you lose, don't blame us. But if you win, we're definitely taking credit.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is our second rendition of the best version of our podcast, the college football version of Not Advised podcast. I'm your host with the most. I'm CJ.
Hi, I'm Raymond, huge Miami fan. I think we're about to get DJ Lagway in the transfer portal.
Yeah, my name is JD Cobb, and I don't know how I feel about DJ Lagway entering the portal as a Florida fan.
Hey, y'all, I'm Wesley, and first time guest, big Ole Miss fan. So, yeah, excited to be here.
Thanks for joining us, Wes. We will love to hear your thoughts and opinions here in just a little bit about all things Ole Miss.
But first, wait, before you get too deep into it, because we have a guest, Wes, tell us who you are, what you do, just educate us on who you are.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, so I'm Wesley Daldrill. I'm from Mississippi originally. I'm a physical therapist here in Pensacola. Know a couple of these guys personally through some networking groups. And yeah, that's basically the rundown on me. Huge sports fan, PT here locally. And yeah.
We're excited to hear your horrible takes.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Hey, first time podcaster. So this should be pretty rough.
Can't be any worse than the past few weeks.
That's exactly right. Can't get any worse than what we do. Wes, real quick, fire question for you. Who's your favorite Ole Miss player?
Of all time?
Of all time. Not counting the Manning.
I got my answer.
Well, that was going to be Eli Manning.
Yeah, of course.
Let's see.
He's over your shoulder, so of course we can't count him.
Yeah. Favorite Ole Miss player of all time? Probably Dexter McCluster.
That was going to be my answer, too.
What a pull. I love that.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun, and that was like in the prime of me being able to, like, the age where I could actually form memories. I mean, I've been an Ole Miss fan since birth, but that was like I was probably like 10. So yeah, probably Dexter.
Cool.
I was literally listening to Coach O talk about him earlier, like on a podcast. So
Dexter was a stud.
That's what brought him to my mind too.
Yeah, what a pull. That's great. Obviously, Ole Miss and Eli is, obviously the first choice there. So I had to make it difficult for you. That's a good pull. Wow.
Appreciate it, man.
What a player. Yeah, you are
but
true.
Yeah,
Miss.
Eli's the obvious choice.
Yeah, of course.
So much so that I'm a Giants fan now. Ashamed to say. I wasn't when he was there, but
hey, it's okay. You've got Ole Miss players just going all the way to be a New York Giant. So
that's right.
It works out for you.
We've got the future figured out, I think. We've got a lot of pieces to put around him, but okay.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, I got to keep him healthy. Got to keep him from scrambling his brains out every week.
Yeah, he's. I don't think he's ever going to learn. I don't get it. He just
got to
needs
get
to
him
slide.
away from scat. I was talking about that earlier. Get him away from Scatabo.
Yes, scat's a bad influence.
Yeah. He just tells him to run head first in the wall, and he's taking it literally, and it's not smart.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's start off this week, boys. Let's start off by talking about the Heisman and our guy, our Indiana Hoosier, Fernando Mendoza, took home the Heisman. But in my opinion, this was probably the most disappointing Heisman race that I can recall in
That's 20 years minimum.
Years. It's like there wasn't like a Diego, I guess, is like the biggest controversial guy, but there wasn't like a favorite for me in this one. I didn't have any skin in the game. What about you guys, Raymond?
I'm not a big I don't know why I don't like Diego. It was okay when Johnny Manziel did it, but I do not like Diego Pavia for some reason.
It's different.
I don't either.
It's like he has like the expectation of greatness instead of just being.
Everybody liked Diego until you saw who he was.
Yeah,
that's how I felt. It's like, oh, Diego's this great guy. Not great guy, but he's a prolific player. It's like he's Johnny Manziel-esque, and it's like he's not as in the media last year because they're like, oh, it's just Vanderbilt. And then this year, it's like, oh, he's still doing Diego things, and he's in the limelight. And now you see what he's done online, and you're just like, oh, I went from really liking you last year to I don't know why I liked you anymore.
Yeah, but Johnny was doing the same stuff. It's just, why was it okay when he did it? I can't figure that out.
Because he won.
Yeah.
I guess
if Diego had won the Heisman Trophy, it would be he wouldn't be have this like pissy attitude for not winning or being a sore loser. Like he would have won, and it would have been Johnny Manziel 2.0. That's
I
how
guess
I
like
feel.
even leading them in like a big upset against the team this year. I know they did
Yeah.
last year with Alabama, but Alabama's not what it once was either.
Whatever. I think also with Diego, I think he's a little bit more of a whiny baby, right? Like with Johnny Manziel, he just kind of put the chip on his shoulder and was like, he's just gonna go party with Drake and then come
He was
back
just
next
having
week.
fun. Like he is literally what happens if you give a 16, 17, 18-year-old $1 million.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Diego, they lose or get brought out of the playoffs, and it's a big deal when, brother, you're at Vandy. Like, just
Plus,
be
I guess
thankful
he's
you're in the
trying too hard to be like
conversation.
a gangster too. Like, I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I agree. There's something different about Diego and Johnny Manziel, and I don't know
Even
if I like
Baker.
Diego.
Like, I know Baker was like another quote unquote bad boy or villain or whatever, but Baker was dog.
Baker was a
Yeah, see, I don't know why I don't like him. I love Baker, but
Yeah.
Diego just I don't know.
It's different. It's different. There's something about it.
And I'm different than even JD here. Like I didn't like the guy last year. I haven't
really?
liked it. No, yeah, I've always thought he was just super cringy and just trying too hard.
Yeah.
To me, Johnny didn't put on the persona that he's trying to be this character. Like it's just who he was.
Yeah.
That's a great point. That's a great way to do it. That's just who
Yeah, like
Johnny
people
is.
at least wanted to be around those guys. It
Yeah.
seems
Yeah.
like Diego got like forced into being in this particular role.
Yeah.
That's
But
true.
I agree that it's one of the worst Heisman races we've had in a long time. And I think a big reason for that is a lot of the preseason guys fell off, and they fell off like really quickly. Like
Yep.
Nussmeier was a big name. Of course, Arch was a big name.
Yep.
Even though that was just overhyped and not fair to the kid, in my opinion. But
Mm-hmm.
so I think you had all these top candidates fall off really quickly, and then we just kind of scrambled to find some people that fit the bill. I think voters looked up, and this is who you have left.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying last week. It's like I feel like there's such a premium on being a leader and winning that, like, okay, well, Ashton Genty would have won if they had, I don't want to say they didn't win because they voted before the playoffs, but like winning in wherever they were, whatever conference that was, I don't even know. But being a group of 5 and being that good is not being the same, putting up the same numbers in the SEC.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it's kind of after they announced that they've released the votes in the top 10. Fernando won by like a landslide.
Wasn't even close.
It was Fernando, Diego, Jeremiah Love, and then Julian Sayin. So Diego was second, but
just that was media driven. I feel like
yeah, 100%.
I would
Right?
have took Love over Diego.
It just doesn't.
Well, I feel like the whole thing with the Notre Dame like fiasco, I don't know if that impacted voters and how they would vote, but like, would I have been surprised? Like, probably not, but
Yeah,
that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, kind of interesting. I don't know if I agree with it. I would love to see Love get more love. As crazy as that sounds, but I don't think a running back anymore is built like JD had talked about. It's all about the winning culture. But I feel like of all these that we ended up with, I feel like Fernando did deserve it just because they are undefeated. They did win, and if we're
he
gonna
didn't
compare,
lose it. Like that's all it was. He just didn't lose
he didn't
it.
lose it.
Yeah, he didn't lose it.
But the crazy part is like
Wesley's
Julian Sayin probably would have won it if he had beat Indiana.
Yeah,
that's my point. Is like it's all derived from like, hey, who's actually going to win? Like the intangible aspect of being a Heisman Trophy winner. It's like the year Tim Tebow won. It's like they went like 9-3. Like they weren't that. They were good, but they weren't like national. I mean, they could have won a national championship, but that's aside the point.
Yeah.
But like that's kind of my point. It's like neither of those players can do what other Heisman winners have done in the past, and it sucks.
Yeah. No one pulled away this year. It just came down to, like y'all said, winning culture. And yeah, it's like Raymond said, he just didn't lose it.
Yep, that's right.
But I totally agree. I think if Ohio State wins the Big Ten championship, Sayin probably wins it. So
yeah, and it's crazy that it's got a flip flop like that. And usually we're talking about 2 or 3 weeks, ago, coming in the last game of the season, that this, there may be 2 people that are front runners, but it's just been a weird year for college football. Wes, you were talking about it earlier, but I think it's going to continue like this moving forward because the games are getting more tough, right? the schedules are getting more tougher, especially within the SEC. Especially, you're not playing cupcake games as much all season, so it's harder to break away.
Well, I think the other thing we have to think about is like, and this is how my mind works, but it's like you think of the media. It's like, okay, so at the end of the day, if I'm going to choose to go to a school and I could have break records like Ashton Genty did or
Right.
do what Fernando Mendoza did, say in the Big Ten, it's like, okay, at the end of the day, if all I'm really looking for is clout to say get to the next level, like what's going to be the easiest route for me to get what I want? Because I think competitors are going to say, I want to go to the SEC, I want to win, I want to do this. But then if it's like, hey, I just want to get on TV and do X, Y, and Z, and I know I'm an SEC talent, not in the SEC, you get, I don't want to say Jeremiah Love, but it's like, come on, you got to be stupid to think like, oh, like I'm going to go to Notre Dame and compete against the best. It's like you're going to get a borderline, fringe schedule and get on TV a lot.
Yeah, and I think that leads us right into our next conversation, a lot to do with the transfer portal, right? Because let's take Genty as the perfect example of he's clearly got the talent and then stayed at the lower end school. Should he transfer to a big name school, any of them, does he win the Heisman? Jeremiah Love is arguably at a bigger name school, but he's had a good year. So this year, should he stay? And if were to stay in college, or does he go to the NFL type situation? Raymond, remind me, because I know you know this. Where did Fernando play last year? Was it Cal?
Cal, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know who he was. I didn't know Fernando Mendoza last year.
I knew about him just because
I
the
knew
Miami
of him,
game.
yeah.
Yeah, but we don't expect, oh, yeah, that guy's going to be our Heisman next year.
Yeah, no
We
shot.
just know of the guy. So it's like the I don't know, is it school? Is it talent? Is it a mix of both? Do you stay undefeated? Do you just Google the coach and then now all of a sudden you're transferring to that school? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they might be like a number one option for quarterbacks in the transfer portal. Now
Yeah.
with Signetti.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but all the dude does is win.
Yeah.
He's backing it up. So
Who was the quarterback at Indiana last year?
couldn't tell you. I love
the last one I remember is Michael Penix.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who it was.
Yeah, same.
That's pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell you, but they won last year with
Indiana.
nobody.
Like, you're not supposed to know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, no. But they were a playoff team. But yeah, I have no idea.
Couldn't.
Curtis Roar.
Well, I do know that name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's total
I've heard the name
name.
just from like the draft talk last year, but he's a nobody.
Yeah. Okay.
To my point that we're transitioning to about the transfer portal, things are happening, right? We're seeing
A lot.
names.
You're seeing everybody pop in today.
Yeah, we're seeing
Monday
names
morning
today.
was like the day.
Yeah, and then next week will be even more, and then after the playoffs will be even more. So, JD, just go ahead, take it away. What are your thoughts? Lagway's entering the transfer portal. Does he stay or does he go?
So as a diehard Florida fan, I'm conflicted because I was texting my other buddy. I'm disappointed he's leaving, but I'm also really glad he's leaving. And allegedly, he did not want to go because I think it was just like a John Summerall is going to do what John Summerall wants to do. And I think the other side to that is I wouldn't be surprised if there was maybe potentially too much, say, pressure from say, not I don't want to say previous staff, but like the fan base demanding something from an individual that he did not deliver on. So it's like, hey, if you stay, like your standard of success like has very, very low margin for error. Kind of like the Carson Beck situation when he transferred to Miami. It was just like kind of surprising, but all the Georgia fans were like, yeah, this guy gave us a natty, but like he sucks. And it kind of feels the same way with DJ Lagway. It's like, hey, we know what he's capable of. I just don't think people in orange and blue would really want to see that. I'm just kind of shocked because I thought he was locked in with his NIL deal to stay at Florida because of the amount of money that they're paying him. So maybe they came to an agreement saying like, hey, we'll just do X, Y, and Z if we kind of part ways, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah, that was going to be my follow-up question. So now what? Like, who's buying them out of this NIL deal? Or do they just say, screw it,
I think
hit the road?
I think with as early as NIL is with their contracts, I'm sure they're a little bit looser than like an NFL contract in an
Right.
agency. So
Yeah.
my assumption is it's like, hey, let's just get out. Like we structured this deal this particular way for like us to get out if both parties aren't happy. So like that's kind of what I think it is. But I mean, I don't know. Like, just more power to him. If he can get out, he can get out. Like, go be happy somewhere else because I don't think he's going to be as loved if he stays at UF than if he goes somewhere else.
I mean, there's a team in Florida that could use him.
If he goes to Miami, go to
He could
Miami.
pull a Carson Beck and go down to Miami. No, I think it'll be interesting because I think, and I didn't even think of it that way until you had just said it. I think by staying, the amount of pressure that would be on him to perform, you have a bad game, and
Yeah.
we know how his games are, and you
It's
have
kind
one
of
of
like
those
a
games.
baby mini Arch situation. Like the expectations are just too high. Wasn't he
Yeah,
like
exactly.
they called him like a 6-star recruit coming out?
Yeah, he was a 5-star plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you're not gonna live up to that. Like if you're just average.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
how
and
it
you're not
felt. It's just like,
surviving new coaches through
and I
that
think
either.
people were also so pissed with Billy Napier because it's like, okay, you quote unquote develop Graham Mertz, he goes into the league, and then you develop AR, he goes into the league, you bring in DJ, it's like, okay, you're going to develop him, and then it's like, what the heck happened? And so everyone is essentially pissed. So, and then you bring in an entire new regime, entire new scheme, and it's like, well, DJ and his parents, like they just from like the forums and everything I've seen on Twitter, it's like his parents bled orange and blue, even though they're
Wow.
from Texas. So it's like the commitment from the Lagway family to the University of Florida was like all in. Like doesn't matter who it is because they loved the university, and I think that's just a product of what Billy built. But again, I think as you kind of read deeper into it, it's like Florida's bringing in John Summerall, who is literally cleaning house. Like he let go of some coaches that I thought were going to stay, like Billy Gonzalez, but I think it's kind of like, hey, when you cut ties, like you just have to start clean. And
Yeah.
John Summerall has a lot of traits that Billy had, where he's like, I'm going to do it my way, and this is the best way and a proven way. And that's kind of what I've seen from him. And so I'm not really surprised to see him leave, but I am shocked.
Yeah, I think we all are shocked, but I guess shouldn't be surprised because
Totally.
the new coaches in anywhere in any organization, it's going to be their way or no way. So either you
Yeah.
get with it or you get lost.
Yeah. And I think we could pay less for an equivalently better quarterback.
Yeah, it's was I was about to say, who knows who's available out there, right?
Just bring it full circle. Go get the UWF kid.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Full
Small
circle.
markets.
Yeah, Marcus, he needs a new home. He's
He needs
entering
a
the
new
transfer
home.
portal.
I know we could, I know Florida just
Y'all
stole.
could do the funniest thing.
We could do the funniest thing. We just stole Florida State's DB coach. They were going to hire the UCF coach, and we just like swooped him under the rug. And
Good.
I think all signs are leading to Marcus Stokes signing with FSU. And
I've
I
seen
just think
that.
it'd be hilarious if we stole him from FSU.
Yeah, I've
I want
seen
to
all
pull for the guy, but I will not be able to if he's at FSU.
signs count to him going towards FSU.
Yeah.
I mean, I think with Summerall's first year at UF, he's got to build a powerhouse, right? He's got to buy all the best players he can get with all the amount of money that they've probably promised him. Do you know how much NIL money they gave him?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm
yeah.
sure it's enough. I'm sure it's in the 20 million range.
Well, that's not good enough because Lane Kiffin got 30. So, but
Florida fans aren't expecting a natty this year like LSU fans.
yeah, but it'll be interesting to see the team that they build because I don't. What do you think U.S. expectations are for year one? Because
Probably
we're now
8-4.
okay. That's
Like, I mean, if we're 8-4, 7-5, like, I don't think anyone's going to be upset with first year everything. But at the same time, it's like the bar has been raised. So it's like when you see, like, when Josh Heupel went to Tennessee
yeah.
and had a 10-win season in his first year, it's like I feel like Florida fans want that, but we've been so jaded by these like 5-4 seasons or 5-6 seasons where it's like, hey, if
Barely
we
bowl
get 7 or 8,
eligible.
yeah, barely bowl eligible. Like, I think 8-4 is like a net positive. Anything better than that, I think we're like, okay, cool. Like the sky's not falling.
That's a lot lower expectations than what I was expecting to hear. because he is having a late start on the year, essentially, with recruiting and signing, because he's having to do double duty.
I feel like Florida fans, I mean, I speak for myself. I actually don't think I speak for the majority of the fan base, but I just kind of feel like I'd rather be a little bit patient with the right guy than like forcing ourselves into a bad situation.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they went with John Summerall and not like bent over backwards to give Lane $100 million.
Probably the better decision, no matter what, now that we know what we know. Raymond, what are your thoughts on Patrick Mahomes? What are your thoughts on Patrick Mahomes entering the transfer portal?
I wasn't expecting it. I thought he was going to stick it out with Nebraska because then they just signed Rule to an extension.
Yeah.
So he's just
that one shocked me as well.
dipping.
Me too. I don't know. I heard some early reports earlier this evening, him being linked to Oregon, but that means Dante's got to come out.
I think Dante's like right now 50-50 if he's coming out. He wanted to stay a second year, but I mean, if you're going to be the first overall pick, you gotta go.
Yeah, that's $20-something million.
Yeah.
I'm because the coach stayed, and I feel like his expectations in Nebraska are just kind of, I mean, they're not high, right? Like, he ain't got to do much. I don't know why you would transfer unless he got offered way more money, wherever he's going to end up.
I don't really watch too many Nebraska games. The only thing I know about them is what Will Compton tells me on Bussin' with the Boys. So, that's it. I don't even know if Dylan Raiola is really that guy.
I don't know either. I just know he's a wannabe Patrick Mahomes. Wes, do you know anything about Raiola?
No, I mean, I'm with y'all. Wannabe Patrick Mahomes. This is just, I haven't even read into this. I literally just saw he entered like 20 minutes
ago.
before coming on here. Yeah. My only thought is maybe this is like a leverage play. Maybe he's just trying to get more money out of Nebraska.
Yeah, because you can stay just because you enter the portal doesn't mean
Yeah, I mean, you can always
transfer.
stay. So I could see this being a contract deal, but I don't know. I've watched him some. I'm not that impressed with the guy, but I'm also not a QB genius. I just like football. So I don't know. That was one of the biggest ones that shocked me, though. That shocked me more than Lagway, personally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean,
I just didn't see John sticking with him.
Yeah, I just don't know why.
I think Summerall just wants a clean slate.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Yeah, you're coming in, big name school.
Who would you rather have though, Raiola or Lagway? Like if your team needed a quarterback,
Lagway.
I'd take Lagway.
Yeah, for sure.
I like Lagway's attitude.
This is what I told my brother. He came over and we were talking about it a little bit. It's like the DJ not, and I said this, I feel like a broken record. DJ not having an off season, I feel like hurt him more than anything because he just gets thrown into the fire and then he starts to heat up towards the end of the year. So let's assume he actually gets a really great offseason in. If you get a really good offseason in, any team's going to benefit from him. And we have to think like his parents, himself, like he's a competent individual, like he's going to go to a place where he feels like he's going to be developed. So it's like, hey, I chose UF because you produced, a number 4 overall pick in the draft. Why would I not go there? So it's like those are the things that go through my mind. It's like, okay, well, when you look at John Summerall and everything that he's got, and it's like, yeah, you got a prolific offense that is going to rely on Jaden Baugh. Like, I'd much rather rely on the intangibles of DJ Lagway than I would Dylan Raiola.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know.
Where do y'all think Lagway ends up?
Probably an SEC school.
I think outside of the SEC. I don't think he stays in the SEC.
I think he'll go to. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to like Auburn and plays for that guy.
I hate that.
I know a coach who really liked him out of high school that's in Baton Rouge now.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think there's a team called the LSU Tigers who need a quarterback.
I think he follows Lane on Twitter too.
He already threw 5 passes to him this year.
Yeah, maybe it was a sign. Maybe there.
Yeah,
I was there in the stand.
Lane's a QB whisperer, so it would be a good fit for him. I mean, look, y'all, I don't even have to talk about how I feel about Lane Kiffin, but he is a good coach.
Yeah.
Bad guy, good coach.
Yeah, bad
guy,
good
bad
coach.
Human, good coach.
Yeah. Raymond, I have to ask you, there's been no signs pointing towards this. What do you think Arch is going to do?
Oh, I think he's staying. If he declared today, is he even a first-round pick? Probably because of his name. Like somebody's probably going to take him just because he's a Manning.
Well,
but
yeah,
I think he's really like turning it on like the second half too. Like it's just what he needed. Like the expectations were so high, he almost beat the number 1 team in the country.
Right.
I think that was more play calling than it was him losing the game week 1. I've already said that, but he had a rough couple weeks after that, and now he's finally getting comfortable, getting chemistry with his wide receiver, some Trey Wingo or something like that.
Wingo. Is he coming back? Is he draft eligible?
I don't think so.
So he's coming, or we shouldn't assume they come back to the same school anymore. But I would imagine.
I don't know.
Yeah, I imagine he comes back to Texas. Wes, what do you think Arch is going to do? You think he stays at Texas, or you think he's going to go in the draft?
Yeah, I agree with Raymond. I think he stays. I think he turned it on the second half of the year, and I just think if he keeps that level of play up into next season, he'll be a top 10 pick. So,
yeah,
and he's not that right now.
Yeah,
correct. Yeah, and
if you take the second half of the season and then double that, he might have won the Heisman. Who knows?
Yeah. He just got off to such a bad start. I think he was hurt early on, but
I saw all those rumors too.
I think he got hurt in the Ohio State game, and he just never came out with it.
They tried to run a quarterback sneak 3 times in a row.
Yeah, I think kind of like JD said a minute ago, though. I think with Arch, I think he benefits from an actual off season with like no pressure. Like, we can't put any more pressure on this kid, right? Like this was the year he had to prove it.
But I still think with Arch, it'll still be being at Texas. He will still have that same amount of pressure. Like
always.
Part of it is because it's Texas, but two, it's like if you're not showing the improvement that is expected of you, now we've got a huge problem because this will really tell you like who he is as a quarterback. You've got a year of experience, 2 years already total in the system. You have 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks as your mentors in your family. You're like, what more do you need to succeed?
Yeah, I don't think we hear about Arch until the season start back up. And then as soon as the season starts, I mean, it's just 1 interception. Arch sucks. 3 touchdowns and a rushing touchdown, while Arch is great. So he's going to have that pressure. It's just maybe he can be healthy, play better, continue the momentum into this next season. But
September 12th, we'll find out. Ohio State comes to town.
Yeah, that's just, they're brave for scheduling those games, but Sarkisian said he's not afraid. So
I like it.
Is it? Yeah. It's not the first game of the season though this year, is it?
I think they play Texas State week 1,
okay,
and then they get Ohio State.
But there's more for Texas to lose than Ohio State because even if they lose that game, they're not going to lose more than 1 game after that.
Texas at least got a pretty rough schedule next year. Looking at it,
all the SEC teams do.
Oh, it's going to be
it's a nightmare.
Ohio State, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Florida, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Missouri, LSU, Texas A&M.
God.
Yeah, Ole Miss is brutal too. Just going to 9 is going to change everything. I think next year's playoff conversation is going to be fascinating if they don't go to 16, and I don't think they are between now and next year.
Why not?
There's not enough time to vote on it, I think.
I think they've already kind of gotten past that phase. I think I may be wrong on this, but I think it's already officially 12 next year.
I think you're right. Yeah,
and just from things I've listened to, like I have no real knowledge into this, but I think they're just kicking that can down the road. So I think if you're in an environment next year with a 12-team playoff and the SEC playing 9 games, it's going to be...
You're going to have 3-loss SEC teams all day.
You're going to have 3-loss SEC teams that should be in. And
you have more Group of 5 and more Big Ten teams then.
That's not the...
That's not an ideal situation.
But it's not the 12 best teams.
Right. I mean, it'll be the same
don't even get me started on the Group of 5 thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Let's hear it, Wes. Let's hear it because we can talk the playoffs right after this. Let's hear your opinion on that.
I just, the whole deal was we got to get more teams into this thing who truly have a shot at winning a title. And I'm sorry, but there's just a lack of resource, a lack of building, a lack of everything with these Group of 5 schools. And in my opinion, the Group of 5, it should be just like we have FBS and we have FCS. It should be the same deal. You should have D1 and D1A. I don't know. But the Group of 5, I think the Group of 5 should have their own separate playoff, their own national championship. A guy I listen to a lot that's an Ole Miss podcaster. I mean, it's like people make a big deal about that because they'd say you're not the true champion, but take a 2A high school and a 6A high school. Both won a state championship. You're not taking anything away from that 2A school. they're both state championships. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So I think the
completely.
group of 5 should have their own deal. Now, look, it's benefiting us, the Rebs, greatly right now because we've got Tulane coming to town this week. But I don't know, man. Just having 2 of those schools in, I mean, you've got Oregon as a 20.5-point favorite,
Yeah.
Ole Miss as a 17-point favorite. Is that what we want in the first round? I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Yeah, no shot. And I think JD maybe said it last week, or maybe you texted it to us this week, that there is a fix to this, but at what cost, right? You have to expand the playoffs, which we're not doing this next year. So circling back real quickly, we're talking about multiple SEC 3-loss teams, right? So let's say the SEC championship game is a 2 or 3-loss team, and then you
It
may
won't be,
potentially,
but yeah.
yeah,
It'll
yeah,
probably be a 2-loss team.
yeah, right. But you have a 2-loss team as probably in the championship, but then you have the same situation we're having now, is you'll have more than one 3-loss team, and then do they get in over who
Yeah.
knows who next year?
I think the only way it actually happens if the committee values your strength of record and then your strength of schedule played. So it's like it's not being valued as much as your overall win percentage. Because if
Yeah.
it did, then you'd be forced to say, oh, well, this 12-0 group of 5 team is not as good as a 9-3 SEC team that, lost this particular way. And I know you can't do it that way, but I mean, I think that's kind of the reality. There's got to be another metric in play if you keep it at 12. That has to be valued.
Yeah, they have
And
to
I mean,
look at it differently.
I don't think you're going to have many years where you have 2 group of 5s in like this year. This just ended up being a freak year with the chaos that the ACC was. Not hating Raymond. But,
I think
it went
hates
full.
AC.
Hey, y'all are in, so
It
it's all
doesn't
that
make any.
matters.
I don't understand how we were not in the championship game, but that's not for me to understand.
That's
Yeah, it's a whole
bizarre because
separate
didn't
conversation.
Virginia, like, I don't know, the ACC confuses me. Virginia lost to NC State, but it wasn't counted as a conference game because they came to like a mutual agreement or something.
Brother, I don't know.
I don't
Anyway,
know how
stupidest
Duke
thing
ended
ever.
up in the ACC championship game. Like,
Yeah, I'm not smart enough for all
Me
that,
neither.
but
Listen,
I think
it
most
probably
years you're
benefited
only
us.
going to have 1 group of 5 in, is my
Sure.
opinion. This year just was an anomaly.
Freak year.
Yeah, because the ACC champion didn't get in, so they have now JMU.
You have to take the
into
next highest ranked
Right.
champion, which
Yeah.
JMU's ranked higher than 7 and 5 Duke. So
God, that just, can you imagine somehow, some way, Duke football team, not basketball, a Duke football team would have potentially made the playoffs? We'd be having a total separate
nightmare.
conversation.
I mean,
But I
gotta
don't know
be
how
better than James Madison.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I still don't know if James Madison is the better team.
Like, unless there's like a legendary 2009 Boise State team, like I don't want them in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Unless
correct.
you got Kellen Moore or Jared Zabransky quarterback in that team, I don't want them.
I mean, I just don't see it changing from last year's game with Boise State, like especially the JMU Oregon game. But before we jump into that, Wes, let's hear your thoughts about Ole Miss. Catch us up. We've had a few weeks to digest everything. How do we feel about the roster moving forward? Do you hear any whispers about any transfers? How's Golding doing?
I think, Golding's a defensive guy, of course.
Yep.
Was under
do
Saban
I
for
know?
5. Yeah, I was under Saban for 5 years. So, I mean, I like the trajectory of Golding moving forward. When it comes to roster retention coming out of the playoff, I'm a little worried about offensive players, of course, because Kiffin's in Baton Rouge. But I think defensively, I think pretty much everyone will stay intact. We got a young D line, so that's exciting. But of course, the big worry is Kewan Lacey.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Stud, by the way. He's
He's such a stud. And and here's a take. I think Kewan should have had a lot more Heisman talk than he did.
Agreed.
I agree.
It was clouded by his narcissistic, selfish head coach who makes everything about himself. So for the last month, the team hasn't been talked about. The head coach has.
Sure.
But no, from everything I'm hearing, I don't think Kewan will be a Rebel next year.
Think he'll be a Tiger?
Yeah, probably, which is going to suck. Our running back coach is Kevin Smith. He'll be with us through the playoff. But beyond that, it's not looking like we're going to retain him. and I think Keywan goes with him. I think that's probably a big part of it.
Oh,
And
that's a
then
big
you got
hit.
the Trinidad conversation, of course.
Yeah,
He's
what's the
applied.
controversy with him trying to get an extra year, right?
Yeah, he's applying for an extra year based off of a year where he's trying to claim a medical redshirt in a year that he only played 2 games. But I don't even think I think he played 2 games because he was the backup, not because he was hurt.
So
So
that should
anyway,
classify as a redshirt then, correct?
yeah. So anyway, we'll see. From what I've heard, just listening to Ole Miss stuff on message boards and stuff, he should get an answer back this week. And then beyond that, I don't know. I mean, now that you've got players like Lagway in the portal, I could see Lane just not being that interested in Trinidad. Because when it comes to Trinidad's a gamer, but when it comes to raw talent, I mean, he doesn't have just off the wall arm talent.
Right.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting, but that's all going to come down to what happens with this waiver that he's applying for. But other than that, man, everything's good. I mean, Pete held the recruiting class together pretty well. I mean, I think we lost 5 recruits total. So he did pretty.
That's
I mean,
not bad.
you're talking he's named the head coach 3 days before high school signing day. He's worried about trying to retain staff because Lane's threatening to take everybody, and he's worried about keeping a signing class together. So I think all in all, everything's good right now. And of course, the focus this week's just playoffs, and then we're kicking all this other stuff down the road. But we hired a wide receivers coach this week.
Wow.
Of course, we made the OC hire last week.
Who's
John David.
Who is it?
John David Baker. He was he was an analyst
that's a good
under
name.
Kiffin for about 3 years, and then left for there and took his first ever OC job at East Carolina. He had East Carolina top 20 in yards per game and points per game.
Pretty good.
So he's a super young guy. I think he's only like 34 or 35.
And look what
So they're bringing him back. I think him and Pete were good buddies when he was here a few years back. But so they hired him, hired a wide receivers coach that I'm not super familiar with, and then they actually hired a GM today. Actually, yeah, I can't remember if I'm hearing from inside sources it's done, but I'm trying to remember if they actually posted that it was done.
Not
Anyway,
Wes having inside sources.
His name's, well, when I say that, I just mean message boards.
Right.
Are you sure?
Journalists who would know.
Yeah.
Anyway, his
reveal
name's
your source.
Austin Thomas. He
Never.
was at Ole Miss for a few years and then left for LSU, actually. And I think a big part of him leaving was him and Lane didn't get along. So now Lane's back, and Lane, I think, booted him. So
And this is a GM?
Yeah, he'll be the GM.
I find it fascinating that colleges are now hiring a general manager.
You got
to with all this
the NFL,
craziness.
basically.
Yeah. No, I'm all for it. And I think
the transfer
teams,
portal is now just free agency at this point.
Yeah,
I saw a kid from USC, maybe. They're now claiming these kids are re-signing with the school, which I think is the craziest thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah, that's how you make money, I guess. Like,
Well,
you
I
don't
think
want
it's just the
commit to them too
idea of
long.
like it's probably the easiest verbiage to say for a lot of these accounts and saying like, "Hey, we've inked a new NIL deal."
I mean, yeah, totally. But I mean, that's what they're doing, right? I mean, technically, they are re-signing,
They're re-signing.
with the school. But
yeah. I mean, when you think about the absurdity of it, it's like if you took every NFL player and said, all right, everyone in the league is a free agent every year. Because
Yeah.
like y'all were talking about earlier,
yeah, you're
Lagway's
spot on. Actually, that's a great way to put it.
contract. The problem with these NIL contracts is I don't think they hold up in court at all. Like there's nothing binding. There's nothing binding.
Because they
You
act
can leave
like
anytime
it's-
you want. Your money just stops.
Yeah, they act like it's still like they were getting money on their table like Reggie Bush years. Like,
Right.
I don't think it's like a formal, and it's probably a real, actual, like legally binding contract. But I don't think there's any like negative to the player if they decide to leave.
Now, I know one thing a lot of schools have done, because you saw this last year. Ole Miss had that really talented team with Walter Nolan and Trey Amos and Jackson and Trey Harris, all those guys. Completely screwed up the year, didn't even make the playoff, and every one of those guys but Trey, and Trey was hurt, played in the bowl game. A big reason for that, and it was just the Gator Bowl, pointless game. They're starting to back end NIL contracts where like a lot of your
Remember
pay,
that? Yeah,
a lot of your pay comes later in the season.
I do
And if
remember
you agree to opt out, you're like foregoing that last payment. So I think that's why you see less opt-outs in bowl games now. Because you remember for a couple years
Yeah,
there, that
nobody
was
was
a
playing.
bad problem. Like,
Yeah.
the whole team would opt out.
Yeah.
So which we just had that happen, but that's because Notre Dame's Notre Dame. But anyway.
Yeah, but that's a school, not the player, so it's different.
Yeah, exactly. They just said, "We'll just do it all together." But, yeah, I think, there's a lot in the air about Ole Miss's future, but right now we're trying to just celebrate the best season in school history, which
Yeah.
we haven't been able to do because of
Yeah, because of
the
all the
name
drama.
we won't speak anymore.
Yeah, of all the drama. It'll be interesting. You kinda put it to where essentially these kids are just free agents year after year. Because I wonder, and maybe you guys can answer this for me, is the NIL contracts that they sign, is it just a yearly basis, a 1-year deal?
I think so. Some may have the language that it's multi-year, and I don't know enough about this to really
neither.
say, but I think even the ones with the language of, "Hey, this is a 2-year deal," like, there's nothing that actually holds that kid to
Right.
that.
To the school.
Mhm.
Well, they're not
Yeah, I
they're
mean
not held liable to the school. It's not the
Right.
the
For
school
now.
that's paying them. Yeah, for now, right. Yeah, it's all the
which you got rev share kicking in, so that's all gonna change soon.
that's gonna be a completely different thing. Speaking of that, before we hop into the playoffs here, did y'all hear about the thing that's going on in Utah? About the like private equity that's buying into the
Yeah.
school?
Crazy.
I don't know if I fully comprehend that, to be completely honest with you, but
I don't really either.
from what I understand is private equity companies putting an absurd amount of money. It's directly into the football program at the school, right?
Think it's basically just going to be like the same thing Texas Tech did with all that oil money. Just private companies, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's all private companies.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's what everybody's going to be doing in a couple of
Yeah, but
years.
I think with Utah, though, I think they're gonna be utilizing that company to, like, put valuations on players
Yeah.
and, like, basically run it like, "Is this stock worth buying?" so to say.
yeah, these
So
poor kids.
it's either gonna really work and everybody's gonna start doing it, or it's gonna be an epic failure, but
Yeah.
we'll see. But,
I
yeah, I don't fully understand it
Well,
either.
I think it'll always be hard being connected back to the university as well because of the legalities of being a quote unquote student athlete.
mhm.
So, and the hard part is they're operating as for profit entities, but connected to a school. So I think if you were to like break that particular agreement, then a lot of things would change. But I mean, at the end of the day, if a private equity is going to buy you, all they want to do is just collect the profits from it. Like, not a lot is really going to change, but because it's like, I mean, there are so many things where private equity purchases something else, but you would never really know. So I think it'll kind of be the same thing. It's just big news because, hey,
'Cause it's the
money's
first
just
of the
going to flow
kind.
to, yeah, now money's just going to flow to them than going back to the university.
But what is that? How does that make Utah of all schools like next year or this or
Well,
2
it'll
years from
be
now?
like, well, think about who was Oregon before Phil Knight.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like that,
What are they going to
that's what
turn
it's gonna
into?
turn into. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it'll be, I mean, it'll take a long time, but I
sure.
think in the next, say, 20 to 30 years, I think that's when you really start to see, "Oh, yeah, of course, it's Utah." So, like, if our kids were like, "No, Utah's, like, the next best thing," you're gonna be like, "No, kid, you're crazy," you know?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's a little bit different,
Back in
Raymond,
my
than
day.
like oil money because it's like we
Yeah,
expect that from all the Texas teams, right? Like, of
right,
course they
yeah.
have oil money. This is like a complete like private equity company that
Yeah,
came out of
private
nowhere.
equities will be flashing
Oh yeah.
their championships across their office.
I mean, that just screams. I mean,
But
that
then
just
the problem will be when that same private equity company owns 5 other football teams.
yeah, they're all
And then it's
competing
like,
against the same
why
names.
why are all 5 of those football teams in the playoff now?
Yeah, because they could
And
buy
then
it.
it's like, it's just gonna be a revolving door.
I mean, that just screams like USC to me, right? Like,
Yeah,
if Utah can pull something like that off, USC's just
dude.
shortly behind.
I mean, didn't LSU just announce something with Nike where they're like becoming an official Nike school now and they're signing like Nike athletes from the college team or from the school as a
Wes would
whole?
know.
Yeah, I think they did, and I think a couple of Adidas schools have done that too, where essentially these sports manufacturing clothing companies, which of course LSU's a Nike school, are actually dumping some NIL money directly into schools that wear that wear
That's
their
interesting.
logo. So it's I don't know, man. It's just a free for all. But yeah, I think I think a few schools that are Adidas did that. So I think Nike's trying to kind of catch up with Adidas in that regard.
I know Miami's like an Adidas official school, and some
Yeah.
other team just swapped to Adidas as well.
That just screams Patrick Mahomes and Texas Tech, which sounds like a quarterback in the transfer portal.
It's just
Could
wild.
really
Nike would
benefit
do
from
that
that.
officially with LSU before they would Oregon.
Yeah, that is weird.
Well, I think they probably don't have to
Announce it with Oregon.
announce that with Oregon. But I think for forever now, I think they own part of the athletics at Oregon, or they're actually tied to Nike somehow. So I don't think they actually have to say anything. Maybe if they were to sponsor a quarterback or something potentially, but I mean everybody knows it's Nike money in Oregon. That's why you go to Eugene. Let's hop into these playoffs, boys. I think Alabama's the only team that plays Friday, right? Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, just one Friday game.
Yeah, just one Friday game. So we'll start with that. We talked about it last week. Nothing's changed. Apparently, I'm not confirming because weather can change, but I'm 90% sure now there may be snow in Oklahoma Friday
Oh,
night.
really?
Wow.
I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, supposedly it's supposed to come in Thursday and then stay around Friday night for the game. But Wes, since we have you on the hot seat here, talk to us about Oklahoma, Alabama. Who do you want to see win?
I don't really care who wins. This
I
is one of
hear
those games. This is one of those games where I just want to see a good game, and it was super competitive last time. I'm looking back at Bama's schedule. So yeah, that was about a month ago. Today.
Yeah, it was right after Mateer
My
got
biggest
healthy.
question with that game is Jam Miller playing, or what's the deal with him?
Stay tuned. He's still questionable. He's supposedly far from playing. So
Gosh,
as of we sit today, I don't think he plays.
I just think he changes their run game completely when
Well,
they can
without
get
him,
him.
it's nothing.
Yeah, without him, it's not existent. When they can get him going downhill a little bit, I feel like it opens up things for Ty. So without him, I'm a little worried for Bama. They haven't looked right to me down the stretch, CJ.
Yeah, bad timing to be bad.
But at the same time, it's hard to beat a good team twice, and Oklahoma already did it, so I could see Bama coming in and exacting revenge. I will tell you this. I think the winner of that game is going to beat Indiana.
Oh, that's
Wow.
That's a big
Bold.
take.
I can get behind that.
That's a big
I may be
take.
wrong. For some reason, I'm not an Indiana hater. It's just all year I've been waiting on them to screw it up,
Right.
and they haven't. So they may continue to put their foot in my mouth, but
I will
I
say
think the win.
Jam Miller said he looked to be fully participating in practice today. So
Today?
Okay.
Okay, good.
Nice.
Yeah, because last week he was not participating.
Yeah, and I mean, and OU's defense is legit now. I mean it. So
Well, that head
without
coach
Jam,
can build a defense now.
yes, and if I think Jam's the key to the game because if Alabama gets super one dimensional, I just don't see how they're going to even score.
Yeah, that's what happened in the Georgia game. You took out the run, and you know what's coming. And then Ty can't do it all himself. And then I think the other key factors for Alabama to win are the receivers, not Ryan Williams, but
Who?
the other. I don't know. Never heard of them. But the other receivers. I mean, I think the other two are. I think Ryan Williams is the third best receiver on the Alabama team, but I think the other two receivers for Alabama have got to step up against that tough Oklahoma defense. I just looked at the weather report. There is no snow, but it is going to be freezing and about 45 degrees at kickoff. So
I'm very interested to see how Mateer does because he was off to a hot start at the beginning of the year.
Well, we all talked to him like a couple weeks span of him potentially being a Heisman favorite there.
Yeah.
And beginning of the season. Yeah.
He was on pace to have that season that everybody wants, the exciting breakout one. Then he went and breaks his thumb or something. I don't remember what it was.
A wrist, I think it
and
was.
He came back too early.
Yeah, and got blown out by Texas.
Yeah, I don't think he should have played in that game. I know as a student the athlete and you want to play against Texas, but
yeah,
it was way too early.
I didn't realize Bama is a slight favorite in this game.
1.5 points.
1.5, yeah.
Yeah.
Vegas knows all, man.
You're not wrong. They know everything.
But I don't know, that's so tight. It's basically a pick 'em. But I think it's going to be a fantastic game, and I think the key to the game for Alabama is Jam Miller.
Yeah. Raymond, any thoughts on that game?
I'm completely in agreement with Wes. I think whoever wins that game is going to be Indiana, especially if Mateer gets rolling. And on top of, like you said, if Jam Miller gets another week healthy, it's just going to be hard to stop him. I don't think Indiana's up for that offensively.
Didn't
Yeah.
Indiana lost like their best D lineman too, right? Did y'all see that?
I didn't see that, no.
I'm
was
not a Big
celeb-
Ten guy, so I wouldn't know.
I did see that. He
He
jumped
was
up to give
celebrating
someone a
after
high
the
five.
game.
Yeah. He tore
was
his knee,
jumping
I
up
think it was.
No
Jumping up to
way.
give somebody a high five
Yeah.
and like blew his ACL.
Yeah. I mean,
Ah.
he like jumped up, and I mean, when we say jump, I mean it was like a little like a step, and he
Yeah.
tore his knee. Yeah, I did see
Yeah.
that. I didn't
Yeah.
realize
I think
it was a
he's
D-lineman.
out for he's out for the whatever playoff games they might play beyond that quarterfinal. Like he's
Yeah.
done.
That is a big one.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that's who that was. JD, any thoughts on the Alabama-Oklahoma game?
If Jam Miller plays, Alabama will win, and if that happens, they will crush Indiana.
Sometimes you guys are my favorite.
I don't think neither team. I mean, I honestly think if the good version of both teams play Indiana, they both beat Indiana. Like, I don't think there's a world where I don't want to say there's a world where Indiana's best is better than Alabama's best, but I think equivalently Indiana has to play better football than Alabama would.
Yeah,
That's how I see it.
I see where you're coming from with that. They're not on like the same playing field essentially. Well, they are in this day and age
Well,
because
because
of
at this
NIL.
point in the year, like playing premier teams and being in certain situations will pay off. And to say, oh well, Indiana's because they pulled it off in the Big Ten and Bama didn't pull it off in the SEC championship game. I just think the experience level of Alabama or Oklahoma in this particular situation is going to be the deciding factor. And it comes back to the coaching. I know Cignetti wins. I know he can do it. But when you look at Kalen DeBoer and his record or Brett Venables and what he's been able to do, it's like I would put more trust in those guys than Kirk Cignetti.
I will say one last thing to wrap this up is whenever Oklahoma hired Venables, I thought it was a knockout hire. I thought it was a great hire. I really liked him when he was at Clemson. I'm shocked it had taken so long. The unfortunate thing moving forward to Saturday's games, they have Texas A&M and Miami at the 11 o'clock slot.
I can tell you why.
Tell me why.
There's an NFL game at 2:30 and an NFL game at 6:30. So they just threw the worst. NFL beats them head to head every time in viewership anyway. I mean, NFL is king.
Yeah, of course.
So they just took the two games that are supposed to be not competitive and threw them against the NFL, knowing they'd lose either way.
That makes sense. I didn't realize this was the weekend where NFL switches over to Saturday games. I thought it was once.
I think that works better for Miami anyway. I don't want to be at night game in Kyle Field.
Yeah,
exactly.
So let's talk about that. A&M's favored at 3. Raymond, let's start with you. Beck's got to play his A game. He can't have no picks to no tight ends running the wrong routes, right?
The game's all in Beck's hands.
Yeah.
We're either going to win by 10 or lose by 20. And it's just going to all be on how many picks Beck throws.
Which Beck shows up.
Exactly. Like,
If
he just play a safe game, like I think we'll win a close one.
Tell me your score prediction for that game, Raymond.
24-15.
Wow,
Miami.
That's higher than what I thought you were going to say. JD, thoughts on this game?
I think the world's going to find out about Malachi Toney this weekend.
Yeah. I think this kind of goes back to the same thing I was saying about Indiana and Oklahoma or OU. Like, I just feel like the experience level of Texas A&M will still be better than whatever Miami can put on the field. Even if you get Carson Beck's best version, I think Marcel Reed, like, experiencing what he did with Texas will pay him dividends with that being their first loss of the year, knowing, hey, we're going into, like, they've had more time to prep. Like, they haven't gone through the emotional roller coaster as Miami. And I feel like Miami making the playoff was like their big win. And Texas A&M's like, hey, like, our goal is not to get into the playoff. Our goal is to win a natty. So I just feel like those are just two different energies. So I feel like Texas A&M is just going to steamroll Miami.
No, that's
funny. I won't be on the podcast next week if that happens.
So we got someone to replace you.
The funny thing is I'm looking here, and Marcel Reed and Carson Beck, they have the same stats. They have 25 tutties, 10 interceptions.
Wow.
Carson Beck's got 3,072 yards, and Marcel Reed has 2,900.
Probably the rushing yards from Reed, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Really separate them.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But I find it interesting that Texas is only favorited by 3. I thought it was going to be a little bit bigger of a spread than that. Wes, what are your thoughts in this game? You going to watch it?
Oh, for sure, yeah. So I'll be in Oxford. I'll be there for the game, but I'll be watching that in the Grove for sure. To me, A&M hasn't. They're kind of like us and got away with playing a little bit of a soft SEC schedule.
Yeah, 100%. Nobody's talking about that.
And they didn't look right down the stretch. I mean, they had to come back from, what were they down, 28 to South Carolina?
I mean, brother, I don't know how they came back. Yeah.
Now look, they came back. I'm not going to discredit that. They got it done, but like to get down to a team that, I mean, and I saw South Carolina play in person this year. They were not a good team. And then Texas just kind of bullied them. So I think this is anybody's game. I think it's coin toss. I don't have a real feel on it.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think from Miami's side, it comes down to Beck.
Totally. So
on this one, either way, if I was a betting man, I wouldn't know where to put my money on this one. I'd probably just go somewhere else.
Yeah, I feel the same way. A&M had the momentum during the season, and then Wes, you had just nailed it. I think towards the end of the season, there's some holes in that sail of theirs. Now, I do really like Mike Elko, and I think he can get them back in line, but it's just going to depend on which Carson Beck shows up and which Marcel Reed shows up, because he's not always the best quarterback, the best decision maker when it comes to throwing the ball and where he places it. And Raymond, tell us, again, I can't even remember this guy's name, who's a linebacker at Miami?
Ruben Bain.
Yeah.
He, like, earlier in the season, I was like, man, he might be the Heisman winner, just as a defensive player, but he's kind of like that guy, just doesn't get a whole lot of sacks, so everybody's kind of hating on him right now.
But he's all over the field, right?
Like, yeah, he's all kind of pressures.
So he's going to be in Marcel's face, maybe not getting the sack, but he'll feel the pressure.
The defense is going to show up 100%. It's just the offense with Beck, and probably more important, Mario Cristobal's play calling.
Yeah, he can't let him let off.
He takes the foot off the brake every single game, dude, and it just kills me. If he can just keep it going all game, then it might not even be close.
We'll see. The afternoon game, Wes, you'll be there. Side note before we hop into this, we're all talking about going to the Ole Miss LSU game next year.
Come see me, man. I'll be there. It's going to be a madhouse. But that would be.
Hopefully, it's a night game.
That would be a good one.
Gotta be night game, right?
I would think so for TV, but for the safety of everyone involved, it may be best interested to put it at 11 a.m. But I mean, look, Ole Miss LSU is a great one to come to any year, but that year especially, that would be a good choice.
Let me
know if y'all come. You can come by the tent.
Yeah. Let's hop into Ole Miss Tulane. Ole Miss is a 17.5-point favorite. Yeah. Do we think? I mean, do we really think Tulane's got a shot?
So I tend to be a pessimistic fan.
Yeah,
because Ole Miss has. I mean, look, we don't have a history of winning exactly. They're really good at breaking hearts, but I mean, when you're just looking at X's and O's here, it shouldn't be a game. Now, look, the stakes are different. I think Tulane's probably improved as the season's going on. We played them earlier in the year. That was the 4th game of the year. But you say Tulane's improved as the season's going on. So has Ole Miss. So I think when it all comes down to it, you're not going to see a 45-10 game. I don't think, but Rebs should win comfortably. I hope I don't eat my words. I'm of course nervous and will be as the week goes on. But I mean, unless we just have some meltdown, I think it should be a 2-possession win.
JD, let's hear you and your new head coach. What are your thoughts against West there?
Well, like I said last week, John Summerall admitted to hey, we were just out everything. And I don't think that'll be the case this time around. And I think Tulane will upset Ole Miss by 1 point. It'll be a last
huge upset.
Field goal. That's and I mean, I feel like I got to support my new ball coach.
Yeah, so right. I love you're doubling down.
But I just feel like, again, they literally have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So I think it's they could try to continue that wave, and I just think they'll end up squeaking it out. And the only way And it feels like it could potentially be a recipe for the upset relative to the JMU game, just because of like Tulane's not like a walk in the park by any means. It's like they've had more of a reputation of being really tenacious or like being a certain way in the past. So I think it'll be a lot closer than people think. And I'm just gonna go on a limb and say they beat Ole Miss.
You should want him to get to Gainesville as soon as possible,
That's
brother.
what
But
I
the
was
thing
saying.
is, everybody in Gainesville wants him to play really well, because the way that I see it is like you're leaving regardless. The portal's going to do what the portal does. I don't think he can win a second round game, but I think he could win a first round game. And I personally think I'd rather have a head coach that has experience winning a game. Like that will pay more dividends to the amount of guys that you can recruit than
Yeah.
saying like, oh, I can get to the big place and like I get my ass waxed by 50 points. Like I think that looks way worse than like putting up a big fight and or winning a game. So like that's why I think the recipe for like being a winner, and it's like he's at least created a culture at Tulane to be like, hey guys, like you're playing for, like I'm leaving, like we're all better, we're all going to better opportunities. So it's kind of like I just think they can do it. That's my opinion.
I think
I
you're
mean, it
right.
wouldn't shock me. Ole Miss has broken my heart a lot. I will say this: I'm going back to the September game. What I remember about that game is, I mean, we just suffocated them defensively.
Yeah.
And Pete Golding is in charge now. He's already scouted this team once. I mean, I don't know how much their schemes changed throughout the year. I haven't kept up with them much since beyond us playing them. But I don't know. I just think Pete will be ready. I agree with JD that it's going to be a closer game than last time. I mean, it's not going to, I do not think it's going to be, let me see when they scored. It was 45-3 with 4 minutes left. They scored a touchdown with 3:42 left in the fourth to make it 45-10. So I don't think you're going to see something like that. But I think Pete will have the boys ready. And I think when it comes down to it, they're just not going to have the horses.
Yeah, I totally agree. Raymond, anything you want to add to that?
Don't even get off the bus. Just keep it rolling.
I love that you're doubling down on that
I
too.
don't think it's going to be close.
Yeah. I will
Ole Miss
say
wins by 20.
Ole Miss by 20. Well, that is the spread, so that would make sense. I do think this side of the bracket is significantly harder.
It is, yeah.
Than the other side. Significantly harder.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I think if y'all can get through Oklahoma Friday night, man, you've got a real shot.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, do we even need to talk about the Oregon JMU game? Like,
Don't even get
No.
off the bus.
yeah, I don't
Keep it
think so
cracking.
Give me
either.
JMU.
Oregon's only favored 21.5. I think it's I think it's a 45
If
point.
JMU wins, I'll shave my head.
Bet.
All right, you heard it here first, fellas.
That's, well, you know what? We'll just end it on that one. Any last words for this week?
roll wave.
Roll wave.
Hotty toddy.
Good luck in Oxford West.
Fun.
Hopefully you'll survive, and maybe you can join us again next week. Talk about the experience at the.
Yeah, man, enjoyed it. Hopefully I'll be talking about it.
Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this podcast, please follow us on all socials at Not Advised Podcast. Again, this was Not Advised Podcast, the fantasy football podcast based off of vibes and opinions. So if you stay winning off this nonsense we are spitting, we want to split in.